Hi. Don't mind me. Just having a late afternoon snack. Mid-afternoon? 3 o'clock is mid-afternoon, right? Timing. Okay. I'll try not to talk too much while I'm eating the rest of this, but let's start. Okay. Yes, Cloud, yes. Welcome to my neck of the woods. I may have rolled a 10 today, but all of my rolls from the past month or so have been single digit, so yes, I have somebody in my corner. Welcome. Good to hear, good to hear. Did you walk to somewhere in particular, or did you just go for an outing? Yeah, you and your 16. Hi, Billy. How you doing, bud? Good luck, have fun. Just a couple of laps around the old folks village. Nice. And when you say beautiful, as in like really good weather? I presume so. Hasn't been the case for me, at least in my neck of the woods. We've left summer well and truly. We've well and truly left summer at this point. But we're still getting some of the hottest days of the year so far, which is just disgusting. I thought we had an agreement with nature. All right, nature, you can go blistering hot during this period of time. Then once that period of time is finished, we'll start getting colder, and then you get to this period of time, you can go incredibly cold, like bone-chillingly cold, and that's fine. But then when we move beyond that period of time, then we start warming up, right? Apparently not. Sunny with a light breeze? Yeah, fair. Proper spring now? Jealous. No, I'm glad that you had a good time. I need to do more of those, just like leisurely feel-good exercise outings. Because oftentimes I try to pair outings with purpose. Like, I'm going to go out in order to do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to travel to blah in order to do blah-de-blah. Which is fine, but it also, like, it doesn't give your brain that opportunity to just kind of smell the roses, so to speak. And those moments are really important. Yeah. Yep. It's good. It's good to get the motor moving a little bit. Your brain releases all the good stuff when you're a little bit active. Something, healthy body, healthy mind, that whole thing. Got to listen to an episode of Cool Eberron podcast. Nice. I've been getting into, on a similar note, I've been getting into like Song of Ice and Fire lore recently. Hi Ghoulie, hey going bud, welcome. We were just chatting about like healthy exercise outings, and when I go rock climbing, I take it as an opportunity to sort of catch up on podcasts that I haven't listened to in a while. My go-to recently have been what are they called? The Magnus Archives, the Magnus Archives, I think they're called. Recommended to me by Noctua. Really fun, especially if you enjoy sort of horror themes and short stories. That's kind of the template for each of the episodes, is that it tells this story about how something has gone terribly wrong, awfully wrong, and this government agency has come in after the fact to be like, yeah, okay, so they were clearly under the influence, so maybe not everything that they were seeing was perhaps reality, but we did find evidence of X, Y, and Z, so maybe these elements to the story were true. It's really fun because it tells these horrendous tales, but then comes in with like a cynical eye, and it's really fun to get both perspectives, both like in it and then sort of the assessment afterwards. And you do get this sense that it is a cynical agency that's going through and evaluating these things, where you're going, yeah, okay, I can see your evaluation, but at the same time, I can also see where maybe this thing is magical and maybe it hasn't left behind things, blah, 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 blah. It's really fun to sort of do that self-assessment afterwards. Mostly finished up planning for your players next minute. Nice. Surprise murder mystery with a blood sport tournament as a backdrop. Yes. Oh my goodness, yes. That's something that I don't do nearly enough, is incorporate sort of sport elements into my settings. That's fun. I mean, obviously there's the classic sort of gladiatorial stuff, but like this is above and beyond that, which is awesome. Okay, I'm appreciating the cluster of rocks over in the corner a little bit more now. I'm liking the presence that they have, more so than just like the isolated single rock. You know, just something else going on. I want to take out some of the greys that I introduced to the cottage wall here yesterday. It just doesn't quite work in the way that I wanted it to, so quickly curbing that back. But yes, I have a guilty pleasure for horror stuff, just because, I don't know, it feels as though the horror genre is kind of like the fairy tale genre, if you can even call that a genre. Has some of the strongest like imagery associated with it. Like if you imagine any other genre, nothing really distinct comes to mind. If you think like romance, it has element, especially if you're thinking like Victorian romance, I guess. You're thinking like wrought iron structures, thinking sort of like your pale pastels. You're thinking like elegant embroidery, that sort of thing. Like it has something to it, I guess. But horror is incredibly evocative. Like you're thinking like degradation. So say, for example, it might be this cottage with like cracked walls, crumbling plaster, missing bricks, splintered timber, frayed roofing. Like it all, like, it's so visceral. Never do horror well. It's one of those things where I guess you have to have a taste for it, I guess. I don't know. I'd imagine it's something that you'd be able to learn to do. I don't think there's anything really that's beyond learning. The visual influences you've been collecting. Oh, yes, please. You know me with my folders and folders and folders of visual references. Ah, yes, Bob, welcome. Welcome to the single digits. It's great to have company for once. Already drunk? Yeah. Sorry, drunk. Yes, perfect. Perfect. Okay. How are we looking lighting wise? We need a darker little stretch of roofing here. We also need a darker stretch of roofing here as well. Ah, look at what that does. It just does wonderful things. Just bought some art for your game. No idea if you're overpaying or underpaying. Don't want to know. Yeah, okay, fair enough. If you want, I can let you know what my opinion is based on the numbers, but like, no stress. If you don't want to know, no stress at all. At the end of the day, it's kind of vibes based. It's kind of, are you happy to pay for the product that you're getting? If the answer is yes, it's fine. Yeah, no stress. All good. Okay, what are we wanting here? We are wanting a little bit more moss through the roofing, I think. Methinks. And a little bit more contrast as well. Just generally speaking. How you going today, Bob? How's your day been? You'll be making the Discord and the subreddit and the Blue Sky, and you think you're just gonna you'll be continuing on Twitch? Ah, nice. I can't promise that I'll be able to make every stream, but I'll do what I can. Things get a little bit awkward when we're talking about different time zones, but whenever I'm free and I see you go live, I'll jump in. Good to hear. Oh yeah, but as I was saying, I've started getting into the Song of Ice and Fire lore, which is not new for me. I kind of flit and float between different lore rabbit holes, just because I love getting invested in the depth of world building. And it's weird because I'm coming at this one with the understanding that I know it's incomplete. I know that there won't be satisfying conclusions to a lot of sort of the the questions that get raised by some of the world building elements. But even still, it's just so well written that I can't help myself. Most of the creation of the game app, so it can be played online more easily. Nice, nice, nice. Because playing on Google Sheets is annoying. Yeah. I mean, there will be people who will be willing to play on Google Sheets, but there's most definitely an element of, what's the word? Like user-friendliness by turning it into an app. And with user-friendliness comes, like, more interest. We saw this with 5th edition. Like, as soon as that sort of narrowed down some of the concepts from 4E, popularity came. I mean, obviously, couple that with like the pandemic and stuff, lightning in a bottle, but still. Only watched the first 2 seasons. It was heavily implied that the weird comet was the cause of the return of magic, but it was never confirmed. Yeah. Just little elements like that scattered all throughout. Like, there are multiple prophecies that are kind of seeded throughout. There are multiple characters that are introduced that have sort of narrative illusions that, at least so far, haven't come to pass. There are a bunch of elements like that where it leads you along thinking that there's something more to be had, and there probably will be eventually, maybe, but at this point in time, no. Right about everything? Yeah, I mean, we'll find out soon enough. I mean, not soon enough. The Winds of Winter was supposed to come out in like 2013 or something. It's something like 14 years late at this point. But I'm holding out hope. If The Winds of Winter, which is the most recent book, if that does come out, I may actually read the books. I have zero confidence in A Dream of Spring, the final book, actually getting written. But at least if this one gets written, I think I might actually take the plunge. There's an optimistic little voice in my head that says, well, if he manages to struggle through and get The Winds of Winter written, hopefully that's like brute forcing the bottleneck, and then he'll end up with like enough momentum to go through and complete the oh my goodness, Cloud, you've sent an absolute treasure trove. Oh, I'll go through that. I'll go through those after stream. Oh, yes, please. Thank you. No, not at all. Not at all. But yeah, my thought is that like the little optimistic voice in my head says, if he manages to push through the bottleneck, maybe all of the planning that goes into finishing the second last book can then go on to provide enough structure to then satisfyingly wrap up the final book. Like, for example, if I'm struggling halfway through a painting, I then go through and reassess all that I've done previously and try and plan out what I want to do moving forward, so that when I break through this bottleneck, it like carries me all the way through to the painting's conclusion. Tends to be the case. So I'm hoping that you've got something similar going on with the writing of the second last and then the final books, where he's sitting here like stuck in this bottleneck, whatever the bottleneck just happens to be, going like, oh crap, like I don't know how this is going to blah 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 blah, like doing all of this planning for everything that's going to be moving forward. So then by the time that he finishes the second to last book, he still has all of the planning from his stuck point that he can apply to the final book. But I don't know. Maybe it's also a thing of like, if he releases the second to the last book and then he only has the final book left. Maybe it'll be like a feeling of euphoria, like we're in the final stretch, I can see the finish line, all I have to do is wrap this up and then this project is completely finished. Maybe that will provide momentum. I don't know. I'm hopeful. Maybe naively so, but hopeful nonetheless. I don't know. I find it to be such a pity when I see something that has so much potential, and then it just doesn't play out. I don't think I'd be alone in that either. Okay, I'm just going through, adding texture, reinforcing the lighting a bit. It's dawned on me that the roofing probably can't be as dark as it, like the difference between the dark and the light sides of the walls probably can't play out on the roof as well, just because the sky acts as like a giant light box. So because the roofing is on a bit of an angle, it means that it's going to be more susceptible to light hitting it. That doesn't mean it's going to be as bright as the roofing over on the right, but it should be a little bit brighter than it currently is. And the way that I'll go about rectifying that is just putting a bit of lighter texturing through it, which should illuminate it without sort of killing the contrast completely. You might get a camera arm and start doing art streams. Oh! Yeah, it is a bit tough, isn't it, doing it physical, because it means that you do have to kind of awkwardly capture it. But I feel like the science has been cracked, right? Where people have kind of figured out that if you just do have the hovering camera over what you're doing, it should capture what you're doing. It'd be good. It'd be good, Cloud. As I've said time and time again, you've got a really unique art style, and I really do enjoy it. You like hot dog and hamburger? Is this food you can really relish? I mean, fair enough. I could go for a hot dog or a hamburger right now. I'm actually quite hungry. Ooh! The Owl Cecil? Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the tavern. How you going? Let me know if I've pronounced that correctly. 3 minutes until ads. Thank you, Tavern. Appreciate. Oh, I see what you did there, Bob. I see what you did there. Welcome in, indeed. How you going, Al? How's your day been? Hope you had a good weekend. I am very meticulously going through, maybe too much so, rendering a cottage for this scene with the intention of animating it once it's completed. I usually exclusively do still illustrations along the lines of this and this and this and this and this, like usually just the still images, but I've been wanting to for a very long time get into animated illustration specifically, I self-dub them animated paintings because I don't want them to be like animated scenes per se. I just want them to be animated, like an illustration that has even more life in it. Yeah, so I don't want it to necessarily be telling playing out a scene. I just want it to be sort of a little bit more motion to whatever the still image was initially capturing. But yeah, that's what I'm working on at the moment. I usually dedicate the first half of stream to doing visual studies for whatever I have planned or commissions that I'm doing at the time. But I've been sick for the past couple of weeks, so I'm just playing it nice and slow at the moment, just getting back into the groove of things. Loving all the cozy vibes. Ah, thank you. I appreciate. Thank you for your kind words. Do you do art stuff as well? No stress if you don't. Just wondering. Oh, ads. I'll quickly just type out the message. I think the shadows ought to get softer as we get over to the left. Finita Burrito, good to hear. Welcome back. You do? Not the best, but you just started streaming about a week ago. It's been so fun. Nice. Do you have anything that you've worked on recently that you'd like to share? Feel free to either post in the stream chat directly or on the Discord. Either way works. I don't mind. Heck, you can do both if you want. Have you been finding streaming? You've been enjoying it by the sounds of things? It's been so fun. Nice, nice, nice. Cloud was literally just saying that he was considering getting into art streaming himself. It is a thing I recommend. It is fun. Oh, good news, by the way. I have recently rediscovered my old piano keyboard. Hopefully, no promises. Hopefully I can find a way of getting it all plugged in, because I've never tried using it as a a digital recorded keyboard. I'm not sure if it has that functionality. I'm hoping that it does. That way I'd be able to jam on stream sometimes. All of the nerdiest songs as well. Like I haven't been playing for the past couple 5 years or something, but I've recently got back into it and I'm relearning all of the classics. Oh, you're learning the classics, are you? Oh well, Does that canon in D? Yeah, okay, yeah. Feralise, yeah, I'm assuming that... No, none of those. Absolutely none. No. Instead, we're learning the the Song of Storms from Zelda, Traverse Town from Kingdom Hearts, just, Dire Docks from Mario 64, all the true classics. You know them, you love them. Super nervous at first. Talking to the void was a bit spooky and took some getting... Yes, it does. It very much so does. It just felt like hanging out with some friends. If you want to start streaming, you 1000% should. Yeah, absolutely. Everyone deserves their own little room on the internet, and people out there may be looking for a seat at your table. Exactly. But not just that. It's also... I don't know. Any excuse to sort of build something around your art is, I don't know, food for the soul, I guess. As sappy as that sounds. Kind of what happened. Like, I am now, I say hesitantly because I struggle with being nice to myself, but I am a professional illustrator. But that wasn't always the case. I was going to be an architect or a graphic designer. But through streaming, I actually found out that I actually deeply love the process of creating artwork. I don't know. I don't think the process would have happened if I hadn't done it. Food for the soul. Speaking of soul food, what do you need? Cottage? You need some of the green tones from the grass up in the hatching of the roof. But yeah, what kind of artwork do you produce? And I won't be hearing anything along the lines of, oh, well, I'm new, I don't really... Nah. Whatever you produce is the artwork that you produce. No if, buts, maybes about it. Okay, we're starting to get there. Speaking of getting back into the swing of things, I went into full hermit mode whilst I was down with the flu. I need to start reaching out my tentacles again and actually making contact with some communities that I kind of disappeared from. I don't know. I do so terrible. I deal with being sick so poorly. I completely shut down. I become a little cocooned butterfly thing. Moth. I didn't post on socials at all. I completely disconnected from some people. Terrible habits. Not sure that people can do, like, do well when they're sick, but I do poorly. Explicitly, I do poorly whenever I get sick. What kind of finish do I want on the wall of the house? It's surely not... Yeah, it's not painted brick. I mean, it could be, but I think it's more likely to be a plaster. If that's the case, though, plaster does tend to have a bit of a texture to it. So, let's try with Farah. This one. Go through, add a little bit of splotchies. Really love working with gouache and colored pencils. You also make little polymer clay figures. Nice. Work full-time as a bookseller, and that sadly steals a lot of your creative joy. Yeah, that's fair. Almost gave up on creative side. Always seem to cling to your soul. So you started streaming to have fun and also to hold yourself accountable for showing up. Yes, yes. That's one of the just amazing things about the streaming process, right? Is that once you actually sit down and you're committed to streaming for a little bit, it kind of gives you that opportunity. I'm glad that you didn't give up on the creative voice. Yeah, it can be quite easy to do so because unfortunately we all have like a little pragmatist in our heads that go, no, you shouldn't be having fun or doing anything interesting. You've got X, Y, and Z that you need to be doing. And it's like, yeah, but at the same time, there are things that you need to kind of cultivate to make life worth living, you know? Not to sound too overly dramatic, but I mean, it's kind of true. Yes, look at this. Look at this. It's looking so much better now. A little bit of je ne sais quoi. Something adding to the texture of the walls of the cottage. It's beautiful. Okay. I've got this as a reference. There's a distinct difference between the two, namely that one is red and one is blue. But in my defense, it's still kind of experiencing the same things, right? Where you've got the very harsh contrast between the shadowy side and the illuminated side of the houses. And I'm using that to inform myself. But those key differences, a la the fact that it's a completely different freaking colour, is making it a little bit more of a head scratcher than maybe it should be. I think we're good though. If anything, I think the the illumination on this side ought to be even brighter. Maybe if I go through with a bit more white. Something like this, maybe, perhaps. Yeah, that's working. That's working. I always have this hesitation to go in with like more dramatic contrast. It's terrible though. It's a terrible tendency that I have to avoid it, because what often happens is my images during the development process often look flat. I'm sitting here pondering like, oh my goodness, why does it look so flat? Why does it look so devoid of interesting, poppiness? Like, what am I missing? And it's, wake up, Wahali. It's the same thing every freaking time. It's lacking contrast. Yeah, just going through and just adding the brighter, it forms the shape so much better. I do have to be careful though, because going through and adding the lightness to the beams is kind of sapped away at the clarity a little bit, I think. If anything, this beam ought to be rotated a wee bit. So let's do that. Perfect. That is looking more striking and therefore better, in my humble opinion. I think I go through and illuminate the roofing a little bit more, and then I think we're good. What's my favorite work I've ever made? My favorite, honestly, is probably the one that I've completed the most recently, which would be this one. Boom. And then is digital best? Is digital best? Yes and no. I really like the fact that with digital I can just I can churn through artwork at a really rapid pace. Rapid for me at least, without it costing a dime, where if I were to be producing these artworks at a similar pace on canvas, it would cost an arm and a leg to do so. So the cost effectiveness is like a big boon. It's also really cool to be able to work with basically every tone under the sun, whereas if I were mixing my own paint, there's like a degree of, I don't know, it's difficult to say, because there's a degree of limitation from mixing my own paints, but at the same time, while I'm mixing my own paints, I often stumble upon really cool combinations and like happy little accidents, I suppose. So I don't know, there are pros and cons. My favorite medium. My favorite medium is either acrylic or pastel, I think. Maybe it's due to my familiarity with those mediums, but I think I do miss just the degree of play that you get with traditional mediums. Where, because with digital, you have so much control over the entire process that you're not really playing, you're designing everything that happens. So there's a lot less kind of seeing how it transforms, if that makes sense. Like with watercolor, as the pigment kind of spreads and as things interact with each other, you can end up with really cool textures and stuff that you didn't plan on. It doesn't really happen with digital. So I like the degree of control that you get with digital, but at the same time, it's kind of its own downfall. Pros and cons. Paint is, yeah, it is heckin' expensive. You can say that again. So yeah, being able to churn through as many pieces as I do, foregoing that cost completely is me gusta. But yeah, there are definitely things that I miss, and definitely reasons why I will return to traditional medium at some point. It's only a matter of time. On the right layer, yes I am. Let's go through, add a bit of scratchy thatched roofing texture. You say that you mostly work with gouache, right? Is it a medium that you have the most experience with? Or have you just found that it's the most satisfying to use? Both? Or both? I haven't had the pleasure of using gouache myself. I've used everything else under the sun, apparently, except gouache. Pastel, chalk, charcoal, watercolor, inks, watercolor, like a palette, watercolor pencil, just like literally everything under the sun except gouache. I don't know why. I don't know why I've been denied the joy. It's been recommended to me a few times, actually. A Cloud, who I was talking about before, who said that he wanted to start streaming. He uses a lot of gouache, and he speaks incredibly highly of it. Sounds like a gouache. No, I don't. Oh, goodness. Yuck. You could say gouache is an incredibly goofy medium. Deary dear. No. Oh. Oh no. Love the opaque nature of it so much, and it blends well. Still struggling with the layers lifting from time to time since it's still water-based. Yep. Is it just a case of needing a million years for each layer to dry? Poor Mickey, when he found out Minnie was a little bit silly. Oh, dearie dear Bob. I didn't see that coming away from a gouache joke, but I mean, I suppose your brain takes you places. Gouache paintings. Now I'm just imagining Goofy going around and reacting in different art galleries. Just going from painting to painting, just going, gouache, and then moving on to the next one, gouache. Goofy, the ultimate react streamer. So the illuminated roof is looking better, but at the same time, it's still feeling a bit flat. So what that tells me is contrast is a thing again. I will forever stumble upon it as if it's a new discovery every time. So that means that I need to add a little bit of darker detail work to it as well. I think this section ought to approach full illumination, something like that, maybe. There we go. Yes. Why do I shy away from contrast whenever it makes my paintings look better? I always fear it. Aye, I say as I cover my eyes and avert them. I mean, I guess I need to be careful of, overly applying contrast, but I've yet to run into the problem of, oh no, it looks too contrasty. Hasn't happened yet. I think this section here that's raised up more should have even greater illumination than the rest of the roofing. So something like this, maybe, perhaps? Yeah, something like that. Boom. Like, it looks more three-dimensional and stuff now. That's great. Progress. Yeah, he does have a name. His name's Quill. And if you have the ability to spend gold coins or channel points, and you can interact with him. Interaction is a little bit limited at the moment, but there is some interaction. Although I will warn you, is a heavy sleeper, so he might just ignore you. Is wonderful. Best little friend guy I could possibly have. How long have I been going for? An hour? Oh my goodness. It was always going to be a shorter stream today just because I didn't feel 100%. But I'll go for another half an hour, I think, and then start to wrap things up. Antique. Yep, the size of the sun. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Not. This is the cute little guy. Adds in a minute. Thank you, Tavern. Hi, Baze. How you going, bud? We are almost finished this illustration. So close. Just working on the little bits of detail work at the moment. How you been? How's your day been? What's left to finish? I need to finish rendering the roof mostly. And then apart from that, there's a couple of little details here and there. Like I want to add a couple more little sort of dirt spots and stuff throughout the grass. They seem to have quite the go for it. Would you believe me if I said that it wasn't a gopher, it was a giant earthworm? The plan is to, when this is finished, like the base illustration, when that's finished, to like wrap it up, like, send it on its way, but then animate it afterwards. So I'll have the finalized illustration and then I'll have an animated version of the illustration. So clouds will move in the sky. The leaves in the grass fronds, I guess. The grass in the foreground will move with the wind a little bit, and then we're also going to have a giant earthworm sort of arcing from one section of the painting to another. That's the plan anyway. Fingers crossed. I made it simple enough to where it shouldn't be too intimidating, hopefully. Thank you. Oh, ads. I'll chill while ads are playing. But yeah, that's the plan. How you going? Hope you had a lovely weekend. It's only Tuesday. Time is a funny thing. Just noticed that this should be a little bit more rotated than it currently is. Let's do that. And now I have to do patch up. There we go. Do you do artwork stuff as well, Paige? No stress if you don't. Just wondering. Okay, that's looking better. Darker under this section of the entrance, I think. Welcome back from ads. Why do I fear contrast? Why? Why do I fear it? Every time, I'm just repeating myself at this point, every time I invest in contrast, it always pays well. Always does. Every time. I think to myself, you know what? I should do this more. And then I never do. I never ever do. I go, that was nice. But let's turn this into a tool that I break glass in case of emergency. No, it should be my standard. It should be my standard that I use higher degrees of contrast, just off the rip. But I never freaking do. And here we are, once again, applying greater contrast, and it just works. It just works. It's almost as if it's good. Why does this happen to me? I made a mistake. Didn't add contrast. Quickly looking up another reference for myself. Thatch, roofing, moss. Ah, dang it. Clicked on the wrong dang image. Where is it? How do I close the preview of the extra image on Google Images? Google, help. There it is. There we are. Perfect. Chuck that into the references, and we've got moss. It's just that easy. I used to, for the longest time, be terrified of ever using anything referential. Because there was always this fear of, well, I mean, it's no longer original. It's no longer mine if I'm using other imagery to sort of help, you know, make reference and get certain elements correct. But it's so, I don't know, limiting to do it that way. Obviously, if you're directly ripping other people's imagery and you're not giving them credit for what you're referencing, that's terrible. But if you've just got an image next to you to be like, what does moss look like, so that when I add moss to my thing, I have something that looks like moss, it's fine. Like back in the time of the Da Vinci's, Da Vinci would sit there, you know, drawing essentially visual references. It's how you practice, it's how you learn, it's how you improve. If you limit yourself to exclusively what's in your imagination, you're essentially doing the same thing, but at like 1 mile an hour. As I said, there are abhorrent ways of going about it that you shouldn't do. Infringing on other people's copyright is a thing. Don't do that. But learning from what other people have learned in the past is kind of how humans work. And it took me the longest time to just kind of accept the reality of things. I wouldn't say that my pieces nowadays are any less original than what they were back in the day. If anything, it just feels like they're better informed. Like, do you think any painter in existence goes to depict somebody, like goes to paint like I don't know, a scene with a person standing there doing a thumbs up or whatever? Do you not think that they sit there practicing people doing thumbs up based on like photos and, you know, models and other people's paintings? Like, you got to learn from others in order to sort of step up, I guess. this lesson took me the longest time, and it's just still the same. It's something that I kick myself in the butt over and over and over again, because I've always got that voice in the back of my head like, Harley, you need to do it all yourself. You need to you can't draw a dragon based on like dinosaur imagery and stuff. You have to like close your eyes and do it all from like the pictures in your head. Which, I mean, you can do. And there are some artists who do stick exclusively to like self-constructed internal imagery. And there are some really interesting results that they get as well. Like, I'm not saying that everybody has to do it this way, but from what I've found, using references has really evolved my artwork, and I'm a better artist for it. Okay, just going through and texturing the last little thistles and stuff on the roof. I also need to add some darker detail work as well, just so that it still pops the way that I want it to. And then I would like to add a little bit of moss as well, just so that it breaks up the massive just shape that is. In a similar vein, I'm not loving how sort of static all of this is, but I'm not entirely sure what I want to do about it. Maybe just emphasizing the plaque here could break up the shape enough. I mean, that's helping. But I want some sort of wear and tear, I think. How would I do that? I could, actually that is a good point. I could add a little bit more almost water damage. That could work. Perfect. That has actually helped quite a bit. Yeah. How are we going for time? About 10 minutes left? Okay. All of Bob's talk of hamburger and hot dog from before has me salivating, to be entirely honest with you. Late lunch. Very late lunch, but a late lunch. You have no big ideas for the game, just tweaks? Yeah, I mean, that's the nice thing, right? Is you've got a good sense of the overall scope of it now, right? I can relate to that somewhat, where once I've drafted out an image and I've got a good sense of what the composition is going to be, there's a satisfaction in knowing that, like, okay, now it's just down to executing on the idea. Like, the scope of the idea has been set. I have all the elements that I want to include. Now it's just a case of refining what I've already got. Gonna have to let it stew a bit more though. Yeah, again, the way that I can relate to that is, even when I have finalized a composition, I will occasionally, like for example with this one, when I decided to sort of start adding in boulders at the in the 11th hour, it's the same thing. I'd imagine where in game design you could feel like there's a major element missing that you add in later on. But it's good to have a sense of like ballpark kind of what you're working with from now. It should help with like fast tracking the refinement process, knowing that you've got all of the elements that you want all in the playpen. Because I could imagine that being a pitfall for game designers, where there's always that question of, well, I could always add more, or what if I'm missing a major mechanic, and just sort of like stewing on it. Because there's infinite possibilities, right? You could always add a million mechanics to your game. A degree of accepting the scope would be quite healthy, I think. Mechanics are too divorced from the story. Both are fun, but kind of too separated from each other. Yeah, I can see that. Kind of like what we were talking about the other day, where it feels like they're missing RP elements. The other thing is the spellcrafting system is a bit clunky. That can be refined. Dun, 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 dun. I think I need to add in some more sort of layering in the roof. Kind of see how I've got on the right here. It almost feels like there are layers of thatching. Let's kill two birds with one stone by adding the darker elements, the contrasty bits, as part of that layering. Yes, yes. Okay. Dark bits around the door. That feels a little bit better. Again, just kind of referencing back to some of the images that I have here on the side. Looks like towards the edge of the roof tend to have these darker sections. Okay. Then if we... Yes, that'll work, but I don't think the original shapes are thin enough for what I want. So let's go through and carve a bit of the girth away from some of the roof spikes. Cool. Jump in again. Ba-bum. Bum 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 ba-da-dum ba-dum bum bum. Welcome to Roof Spike Park. Actually, we were expecting dinosaurs. Shut up. You get roof spikes. That kind of looks awesome. And then, do I add the moss? Do I add the moss is the question. Before I do that, as I look from a distance, pretty good, pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Okay. Then going through the grass, just adding kind of what I was talking about before, little patches of something else, just to kind of break up the mass a little bit. A wee tad. I'm super excited because out of breaking nowhere, I've got D&D tonight. I haven't been able to play in a few weeks, but the break has ended, and I get this sort of foreboding gut feeling that my character's maybe going to die. But I don't know, that's exciting in and of itself. I have a pact with another one of the party members that if our characters die, we will both come back as goblins. And it will be glorious. Oh, ads. Oh, Owl. Thank you. Thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. You are truly welcome to the halls of the tavern. Pick out any of the rooms upstairs that you'd like. Oh, what layer? That one. There we go. Thank you, thank you. But oh my goodness. Owl is now equipped with owls. This is a very dangerous combination, but one that we all saw coming. It was inevitable. 50% for Quill and 50% because I'm so... Oh my goodness, thank you. I appreciate. What layer is that? Okay. I've moved something. Oh no. Why is it not selecting... This? Is that now... No, why is it... What layer are you? Burrows, I thought so. It's fine, it's fine. Fixed. Simple as that. The owl sees all. True. The omnipotent owl. No, I do always appreciate sort of more bombastic creation stories like The Great Owl. Oh my goodness, could you imagine? See that one video about only painting with big brushes? I don't think so. I don't recognize it just off of that concept, but maybe I'd recognize the thumbnail. If you've got it on hand, please send it through. Otherwise, I'll look it up. Only painting with big brushes. Should be easy to find, right? By the way, Al, I completely forgot to say. What's it? If you wanna see like all the community stuff, like when we have art hangouts and like the art fair that happens once, like every month, blah 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 blah. All of that's on their Discord. If you wanted to get access to that, let me know. If you, God, my brain, it's scrambled. If you did want to access it, just type !Discord, link pops up. No stress, by the way. If you're not interested, don't worry about it, but it's there if you need it. Okay, what's the last of it? I think that's it, right? Except for the grass in the foreground. Already joined. Oh my goodness, I didn't see. You didn't say anything. Oh my good. Oh, it's so good. I hope you don't mind if I quickly shot on stream. Very, very, very cool. Look at this. Look at this. Presumably in gouache. Have a lovely flower with little bee companion. Oh, it's so pastel and nice. Such good vibes. I love it. Love the texture. So good, so good. And you've found a way of doing the background that just looks so satisfying because it blends into the background. It like, you know what I mean? Like it fades away satisfyingly enough, but isn't completely blank. It really, really, really well done. Lovely. So good. Oh, that's the link. Let's quickly grab that and immediately mute it. Okay, I've got that link now. Thank you, Cloud. You can do scary things. It was a jump scare. I think it's all a matter of perspective, Bob. For the flower, I think it's a massive bee, but for us, it would be teeny tiny. Not at all, Al. Not at all. Not at all. I do need to eat though. I will say, I'm starving. Ooh. You have linked more things, Cloud. Excellent. I'll go through and I'll drink it all up with my eyeballs later. I do need to eat, so I'm gonna jump out at this point. Grab myself a very late lunch, and very exciting. I've gotten a couple of commissions. I've gotten a couple of commissions recently, so I need to get started on those as well. So the rest of my day is set for me. Was lovely to meet you, Al. Lovely to meet you as well, Beige, if you're there. Loved hanging out with everybody. Food time. No. I started with a snack. I had myself a sesame bar. Okay. Harmony's online. Oh my good. It's been a millennia since I've raided her, so let's head over that way. If you love the chill vibes here, you're gonna love hanging out with Harmony. She is awesome. She does I found her through like the little frog illustrations that she does, but she's also been working on a Lord of the Rings like info book recently, and her blah blah blah. Oh, good. Where is my brain? Her pencil sketches of the characters from The Hobbit are just so good. Have a lovely rest of my day. Thank you. You too. It's been fun. Glad to hear it. Have a good one. But yeah, you too, Cloud. Sorry I've been MIA for a while now, but I should be back into the swing of things. We should chat more. Alright, have an excellent rest of your day or night, depending on where you are, and I'll catch you later in the week. Bye, everybody. Bye.
And because